In today's video, we're going to talk about fat loss. What happens when you go from this to this in a short amount of time, like the people in our challenge? What happens when you go from this to this? How do you know that the diet should be over? I'm going to give you the 5 signs to look for to know that your fat loss diet should be over. And I'm also going to give you a template for how to handle that phase to ensure you not only keep your fat loss, but you set yourself up for success in the future. Hey guys, this is Paul Rebella from ProPhysique.com, and today we're going to talk about fat loss and how to know when your diet is over. I got a great question, and it really stirred something up because I think this is something a lot of us get used to. We get used to dieting for a long period of time, and we don't know the signs to look for that maybe we should be taking a break. So here's the question. After doing the calorie deficit for, let's say, 3 months, going from 188 to 152, when is it time to step up the calories based on your activity, new weight, and lifting? I've increased my calories from 2,000 to 2,200. I've been more tired in the morning. During the day, I still have energy. I feel like I'm not seeing any more changes. Is it time to go up or go back down? So this question for me brought up something that I quite often see with my clients that have lost a lot of body fat over a period of time. And that is, when do we stop dieting? Or when do we stop dieting for fat loss? The first sign, and this is going to sound odd, but if you've reached your initial goal, consider giving yourself a break. I see it quite often that, people will say to me, Coach, I just want to get to 180 pounds. And we get to 180 pounds and they're like, you know what? Now I want to get to 170. Well, that's great. But you've worked so hard to get that weight off, and now you're changing the goal mid-plan. So depending on how you approach that, you might need to take some recovery. I call this summit fever. The closer we get to our ultimate goal, the more we will start to compromise our decision making, right? And that's why you see people die on mountains that are climbing to summit a very difficult mountain, because they know the rules of engagement, but they get so close to that summit, they just start changing some of their rules that they operate by. Same thing with fat loss, is that we have a lot of success doing things by a certain approach, losing weight at a certain rate, keeping calories in a certain range. And then we get close to our goal and we think, oh man, if I could just lose that extra 5 or 10 pounds, and they do something that's a little too drastic, and that's going to set you back. So if you've reached your goal weight, that's a good sign that you maybe should take a break. Another really good sign that I look for is when I have a check-in with a client, I ask for wellness scores: sleep, stress, hunger, adherence to the plan. I ask for a bunch of these scores. And the reason I do that is because when I start to notice that their sleep goes down, that their energy goes down, their adherence goes down, and their anxiety and stress go up, their performance in the gym goes down, that can be diet induced. So if you're experiencing any of these things, it can certainly be related to fatigue of dieting, fatigue of lowering body fat, and it might be time for you to take a short break from this deficit. The third one I consider kind of a mental or emotional burnout, where you start to realize that food's been on your mind a little bit more lately. You're starting to either start to snack a little bit, or at the end of the day, you're going over a little bit. You might even start going, well, I'll go over a little bit today and then I'll just do a little extra cardio tomorrow, or I'll pull from tomorrow's calories. If you're having trouble sticking to your plan, if you're breaking promises to yourself mentally, that is a really good sign that the fatigue of the process is really starting to wear you down. Now, willpower is super powerful, so we can actually get through these phases for short amounts of time, but eventually if you push yourself too far, the pendulum's gonna swing back the other way. Whereas if you just take a moment, and we'll talk about how to do that at the end of the video, you can not only benefit from this break, but continue to progress. The fourth reason that it might be time is that despite continued efforts to lose weight, nothing's happening. What do I mean by that? You've adjusted your calories. You've added cardio. You are now taking an extra class. You have switched your diet around so that your calories are even lower than they were before, for longer than they were before. But guess what? The scale, it's not dropping. In fact, it might even go up. Your digestion's a mess. You're sleeping worse. And so what's happening is you are pushing to a point that your body is just not responding to. Now, a lot of us will say, well, that's impossible. I've heard people say, well, the mathematics don't add up. If you're increasing your deficit, how do you not lose weight? Well, you got to remember, our bodies are pretty dynamic. And just because you pull some calories doesn't mean your body doesn't start conserving energy in other areas. Your NEAT will drop. There's a reason why you sleep less. Your body's trying to wake you up to go eat some food. You're going to have less ability to have willpower late in the day. You're going to notice you start snacking. So when these things start to happen and you're still not making progress, consider taking a break. And finally, it's just overall fatigue. You are just tired of the process. Your body is tired. You are beat up because at a certain point, and I get here every time I diet down and do a bodybuilding show, you are putting so much effort into the physique that other areas of your life start to suffer and you're going to start to get a little burnout. You might notice that the weights are extra heavy. You're having to use lighter weights. You're having to use motivation only to go to the gym. It's no longer something that you can do secondhand. You have to keep pushing yourself mentally and physically, and your body is just going to start to push against you. This is when I really think it's time to take a break. So let's talk about how to take that break because that can be important. Let's just give out some numbers. And you said you were on 2,000 calories. That's a lot of calories for most people, depending on, you said you were about 155 pounds. That's well over my 10 times calorie marker. And that's what I look for, guys. If you're at 10 times your body weight in calories and you're not losing weight, this is where I find a diet break can really change the game. Most people, when they're going through a fat loss phase and they break or they're ready to take a break, they just stop. They start going out to eat at restaurants. They start eating all the foods they were craving. They start, maybe they're drinking more alcohol. They start missing their cardio sessions. If instead of that, you just bring food up by 20%, maybe 25%, you bring your cardio down by 50%, maybe 40%, you start to toggle these switches, you're going to notice a few things change. Your sleep's going to improve. Your performance in the gym is going to improve. Your digestion's going to improve. You might even notice your non-exercise activity really picks up. If you haven't heard my videos on a diet break, it's a week-long period where we bring calories up to predicted maintenance, not your maintenance before you started dieting. That is gone, okay? You are no longer that same person. Maintenance calories are defined by the fact that they will not put body fat on you. It's only gonna be between 20 and 25% of where your current calories are, up from that. If you can take all the lessons you've learned with fat loss, use that same approach, you're still meal prepping, you're still doing cardio, but you're just pulling back a little bit. You're adding a little bit of food, you're pulling back a little bit on your activity. What you'll notice with most of my clients is weight maintains, but mood, performance, overall sense of well-being greatly increase, pumps in the gym increase. And what does that do? That causes us to be able to either go back into the diet or realize we're happy where we are. Whatever choice it is that you decide, if you have any questions, let me know. And if you need help one-on-one, I got a link below. Set up a call for coaching. We've also got our challenges that we run throughout the year. Guys, I really want to give you the information to do this yourself, but if you need help, please reach out and I'll get back to you shortly. Let me know if you have any other questions. Tomorrow's video is going to be even better, so look out for it. I'll talk to you tomorrow.